Today I'd like to demonstrate how we do a full test procedure using the Ultima 4-in-1 brake alignment and suspension testing machine from Safety Stop. The first test will be brake performance and drag alignment testing. So either press F1 or click on the brakes button you see here. Now align the vehicle parallel to the plates about 1 metre or 2 in front of the test track. Ensure the steering wheel is centred, and from this point on we don't need to touch the steering wheel at all during the test procedure. Now while watching the screen, select first gear or drive and accelerate up to about 4 or 5 kilometres per hour, just a brisk walking pace. You may need just a little bit of accelerator to do this. As soon as you're up to speed, quickly put the car back into neutral, and in the case of a manual gearbox, to press the clutch fully. As soon as you see the red stop sign on the monitor, apply the brakes hard. Stop the car. So here we go. Into drive, release the brakes, a touch of throttle, back into neutral, and let the car roll. Hard on the brakes.
So, into drive, release the brakes, let the car travel, nice and slowly, put into neutral. When I see the stop sign, I apply the brakes hard.
Now when the stop sign goes out, we're ready for the next test. Parking brake. Now it doesn't matter if it's an old-fashioned mechanical brake or a modern car with an electronic brake. The process is the same. Back into drive, roll forward, and as soon as you see the stop sign,
you apply the brake.
Fully activate the parking brake. The car stops.
Put into drive, let it roll forward, straight back into neutral. Next time I'll see the stop sign, I engage the electric parking brake.
Once the stop sign goes out, the brake test is complete, and you'll see the test report displaying on the screen for about 10 seconds. Elements shown in green are good, within specification, and red means there's a problem that needs to be addressed. The vehicle will either pass or fail. Of course you can print out the report. There's a lot of information here, as you can see. Not just the braking efficiency at every wheel, but also left to right and front to rear imbalances, and the parking brake effectiveness and imbalance as well. Not only that, because the machine's also recording drag and skew at every wheel, you have a report on the real-world wheel alignment, front and rear. It is important to recognise that this is a real-world driving measurement of toe in and toe out, not just a static test. The results are more accurate and realistic, as it is measuring movement due to wear in not just the steering, but in other components like your suspension bushes, control arms, McPherson struts, and so forth. The test also shows a photograph of the vehicle together with the date and time. Sometimes people ask if the results can be fudged, so to speak. No, they can't. If we repeat the exercise, you can see the results are almost identical. As you can see, this machine has 4 braking plates. But how would you perform this brake test on a very long vehicle whose wheelbase was too long for the machine? For example, a Chevy Silverado. It's the same as if you're performing the brake test on the short track Safety Stop machine or an Eco Safety Stop machine, which only have 2 braking plates. Well, first you'd measure the front brakes, and then the rear brakes, and then the parking brake. How do you do it on this machine? Click on Setup, F9, then go into Maintenance, then Miscellaneous Settings, and choose the 2-plate option. Now the machine will behave like a short track model. Click OK, OK again, and then F1 like we did before. So now we're ready to test an extra long vehicle. Richard will demonstrate.
Line the car up parallel with the test track. Make sure the steering wheel is in the middle. From here on in, we won't touch it anymore. Most of the time you won't have to accelerate. Sometimes you might have to use the accelerator just a little bit. Once we achieve that speed, we click the gear lever into neutral, let the car roll, and when we see the stop sign, we apply the brakes hard. So step 1, let the car travel, bring it up to about 4 to 5 k's, neutral. When I see the stop sign, apply the brakes hard. We then click it back into drive, let the car roll forward, back into neutral. Next time we see the stop sign, we apply the foot brake hard again. It's now asking us to reverse for the handbrake. So we'll just reverse the car back past the weighbridge section, but not further. We then bring it back into drive, let it roll forward. Next time we'll see the stop sign, we'll apply the parking brake. test is finished. It shows us pass-fail criteria. Green means good, red means there might be a problem.
You can see the test report is exactly as before, with all the same braking and wheel alignment information. You can see the brake force on each individual wheel, brake imbalances and tyre drag. This makes it easy to identify issues such as binding or inoperative calipers that won't be so evident on an on-road brake test. Now, Safety Stop is also a suspension testing machine, measuring suspension rebound to help identify problems with shock absorbers and springs. Here's how you do a suspension test. First up, ensure the test track is empty. Click F4 for the suspension test. So now we just follow the prompts on this large yellow panel. Drive the vehicle slowly onto the weighbridge plates in the middle of the test track and place the front wheels on the weighbridge section. You may have to look outside to see that you get close to the middle of the weighbridge plate. Now switch off, put the car in park, don't apply the handbrake, and open the bonnet. We're ready to do the test, so back to the computer and press the start button. The machine always wants us to start with the left-hand side of the vehicle first. We're going to press and release quickly on the left front of the car. Now for the test to activate, there has to be a minimum of 70 kilograms pressure at the weight scale. That would be difficult to achieve directly above the wheel, and we don't want to press hard on the body panels, so press here where you'll get more leverage. A solid push and release immediately. The machine will tell you it's now ready for the right side. Same thing, one solid push and release. Now we move the vehicle to place the rear wheels on the weighbridge. Once again, try and get nice and close to the centre of the scale. And again, we suggest you open the rear boot or the hatch so you don't have to press on any bodywork.
We'll press the start button and now we are ready for the rear.
Same again. You start with the left side, one good solid push down and release immediately. Over to the right side, push and release. Each time you do this, the machine will confirm it's happy with the result. The test is now complete and the results will be shown for 10 seconds. And of course they can be printed out. As you can see, we get nice even results for all four wheels. And you even get a little graph to show you the rebound and oscillation at each wheel. So that's the suspension test. Lastly, the Safety Stop machine also has very accurate weight scales, so we can measure corner weight, axle weight and total weight. Before we start, make sure nothing is on the test track, and then we press F3. You can test them by standing on them yourself, find out how much you weigh. So let's place the front axle on the scale. Don't forget to close the door when you get out of the car, then press the add button and the machine will store the front axle weight. Then you move the vehicle forward again, place the rear axle on the scale, and again don't forget to close the door, and then once again press the add button. That's all there is to it. You can see the weight at each wheel, across each axle, and the total weight. Simple. And once again, the reports are stored so you can view them or print them. So now we've done a complete brake test, alignment test, suspension test, and a weight scale test using the Safety Stop test lane, and it's all taken just a few minutes. You can see how simple and easy it is to use the machine, far more quickly and accurately, and importantly, without the risks involved in driving customer vehicles at speed on public roads. Thanks for your attention. And finally, Safety Stop would like to thank the Ultimo TAFE in Sydney for the use of their machine. It's really gratifying to see this machine being used as the benchmark in teaching students who will be the mechanics and engineers of tomorrow.